One of the most crucial jobs in video editing is manipulating the perceived flow of time. Although there are occasions when your video or film will be real-time, this is rare. In most cases, the video duration will be much different to the real-world time span of the story that you're telling. By understanding some of the common time-related storytelling techniques, you'll have a sense of what methods you can use to tell your stories. Hang on to the end because I'm going to explain 3 ways to manipulate time when editing your videos and films, and how doing so affects certain types of projects you'll be working on. Hi, I'm Jim Costa. I'm a full-time working photographer, video producer, video editor, and technology pro. If you like what you see in this video, stick around to the end because I've got a couple of photography, video, filmmaking, and editing freebies, and even some training courses that I'll tell you about that will definitely help to improve your work and help grow your business through earned media exposure. You can help to support my channel by purchasing my training courses, requesting my free downloads, and even hiring me to shoot and edit videos for you. And remember, I welcome all of your comments, questions, and more on all of my videos. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video on Wednesdays. I've also done many other videos on improving your photography, video production, and filmmaking, and I'll link to those in the description below as well. There are 3 types of time in video and film production, and they are real time, compressed time, and extended time. Extended time is slower than real time. Real time is the time in the video or film that is exactly the same as the time it was recorded in, and compressed time is by far the most common situation. The story takes place over a longer time period than can be used in the video or film scene, so various tricks are used to compress time into an acceptable duration. Virtually all feature films use time compression. Stories can be set over weeks, months, or even years, but still fit within the few hours of actual runtime of the film. It's rare that a film is shot completely in real time, like the classic Western High Noon. In the film, a clock is repeatedly shown to help illustrate the passage of time as well as to build tension up to the film's climax. In the TV series 24, on-screen graphics are used to show that the entire series takes place over a single 24-hour time span, with each episode representing 1 hour. These examples are definitely the exception and not the norm. Typically in film, the events portrayed on screen take place over a longer amount of time than the runtime of the film. In a case like this, time must be compressed, so a story that takes place over several days or years can be told in less than 2 hours. Conversely, time must occasionally be extended so events that take place over a short amount of time can be fully explored. While it's rare for an entire film to be told in extended time, it's commonly used for individual scenes or sequences. Extended time is used to highlight an action and oftentimes increases tension in a scene. The countdown of a timer on a bomb often moves slower than real time when our action hero is struggling to defuse it. Similarly, fight moves are often slowed down in action films so the movement can be seen and the impact of the blow emphasized. So when you're editing, what do you cut and what do you keep? The use of time in storytelling is important in every aspect of production, from the outlining stage to the writing of the script to the production stage and through the editing. There's a saying in screenwriting that you should enter a scene after it begins and leave before it ends. You only want to show the audience what it needs to see in order to keep them engaged in the story. While you always hope the screenwriter has done their job, it's up to the director to ensure that scenes are tight and flow smoothly. This includes keying the audience into the passage of time. If you're going to be utilizing time compression or expansion, most of the decisions of what you'll show to the audience should be made before you shoot. Oftentimes, writers will just note in the slug line of a script something like exterior house night or interior Charlie's bedroom 5 years later, without indicating to the director a way to show that passage of time on the screen. It's important to review the script before you shoot, notating how you'll show the passage of time. That way, you'll minimize your workload and have more time to get the shots you need. So what is the visual language of film? For more than 100 years, filmmakers have worked to establish a complex visual language that is utilized in telling their stories. Many of these techniques are so subtle you may not even realize they're there, but once you recognize them, you can see them for yourself. By using time passage techniques that the audience is accustomed to seeing, they can easily follow your story. So what are those techniques? You could start with graphics. Text on the screen showing the date or time can be used to establish when the action of a scene or sequence is taking place. Audience can gauge time passage based on the last graphic that appeared. The text is often in the center of the screen or in a lower thirds position. Newspapers, diary, or journal entries are another common graphic approach. It may be the simplest way to convey the passage of time, but some filmmakers feel that graphics can detract from the visual style of a film. It's also important to remember that some viewers will ignore graphics in the beginning of a film, thinking that they're just part of the credits. You might also try using symbolism to show the passage of time. While time is an abstract concept, objects associated with time are very concrete. From clocks and calendars to sunrises and sunsets to seasonal changes, the passage of time can be easily inferred from this symbolism. There are multiple techniques that utilize symbolism effectively, so let me examine a few of those briefly. The first to consider is the aging process. While you're looking for ways to compress time, you can show a character has aged years by altering their hair, makeup, and wardrobe. When you are using babies or child actors that are then replaced by adult actors, you may have to incorporate the character's name into the dialogue if the resemblance is not uncanny, but people will know that the person has grown up. Many films will use makeup and hair color to age an actor, but as a director, it's important to remember that age can be defined by so much more than just hair and makeup. A stooped walk, a limp, or a gravelly voice can also indicate aging. Encourage your actors to bring creativity to the table and to use their dramatic skills. Props and locations can also show age too. A shiny new car that is now old and worn shows time has passed. A crisp new document is now yellow and faded. When objectifying time, it's often helpful to use extremes to illustrate its passage. Establishing shots. These shots are used not only to show where the action is taking place, but also when it's taking place. If a scene opens with a shot of the exterior of a house in the bright sunshine, and the next scene opens with a full moon over a lake, the audience will get the idea that time in the story has transitioned from day to night, even if no other cues are given. Likewise, if viewers are seeing people in 1950s style clothing walking down a sidewalk past a row of bright houses in 1950s era cars all parked out in front, the audience will know, with 1950s era cars parked out in front, the audience will assume that this is part of the story that is taking place in the 1950s, even if the last scene took place in the Middle Ages. Next, consider time-lapse. Time-lapse uses still shots of a fixed location over time. The stills are edited together to create this effect. The most common uses of time-lapse are sunset to sunrise, moon phases, and seasonal changes. However, crowds assembling and dispersing to traffic patterns on the same interstate to a storm rolling in are other good examples. The montage. Montage is a sequence of rapid shots used to quickly show the passage of time. If you wanted to show that a character had spent a long time searching for treasure, you might show a sequence of airplanes taking off and landing in various exotic locales. Likewise, if you wanted to show how a couple's relationship evolved, you might show a first date, a proposal, a wedding, and the birth of a baby. Montages are one of the most common techniques used to show the passage of time. usually set to music, they're often used in the beginning of a movie to establish characters, relationships, or story. One needs to be careful as to not overuse montages. While one or two can work really well, if you have more than that, audiences may feel that your film lacks substance. Next, use transitions. While some editors may think that transition styles are a personal preference and that it does not matter what transition you choose to use from one scene to the next, it can greatly affect how your audience reacts. Many types of transitions are commonly used to illustrate certain types of changes in a story. By following these common usages, your story will be easier for your audience to follow. So the first of these transitions is the cut. The cut is the simplest and most widely used transition. You could say it's the absence of a transition, since it's the last frame of clip A followed by the first frame of clip B, with no alterations. Many productions use cuts exclusively between shots in their edits. Cuts are so common, they often go unnoticed by the audience. If the audience sees a man getting out of bed and the film cuts to him taking a shower, then cuts to him driving a car, they understand that time has passed and will usually not question what wasn't shown because they assume the missing parts were unimportant to the story. Then there's the jump cut. A jump cut occurs when a subject is in motion in the initial frame of the shot and the movement jumps forward to later in that same shot. By removing a section of the movement, this shortens the time shown on screen. In classical Hollywood films, these kinds of cuts would be considered an error, but Jean-Luc Godard helped pioneer their use in his 1960 masterpiece, Breathless, and they have since become a more common stylistic choice. Jump cuts are often used for the jarring effect they have on the audience when they notice a section of time has been skipped, and the audience can tell a portion of the time has been skipped over. Next are what's known as fades. Fades are much less commonly used transitions when compared with the cut. They are often only used to place emphasis on a dramatic shift in the story that coincides with the passage of time. Fades are a shift to or from a solid color to a footage clip. The most dominant colors used in fades are black and white. Fades often illustrate a longer passage of time as compared to the passage of time illustrated by the cut. They are sometimes also used as a transition to and from a segment of extended time. The first of these is a fade to black. A fade to black is often used for a transition between two clips where a large amount of time passes in the story, anywhere from overnight to years later. A fade to black can be used to transition the story out of one point of time and can be followed by a fade from black to transition the story to another point in time. Then there's the fade to white. The use of a fade to white is often reserved for transitioning to a character's vision, thoughts, or ideas. In many cases, the transition is used before an expansion in time because what the character sees in their mind takes longer to show than the time that elapses during the story. Fades from white are usually used after the action in the character's mind is finished to show that we are back to the reality and time of the story. Next are what's known as the dissolve. Dissolves are often used to highlight a character's emotions in a transition or used to enhance the visual appeal of a montage. While montages often use multiple dissolves, one after the other as transitions, in regular scenes the use of multiple dissolves can be a bit distracting. So, how do you think about your final edit? When considering how you want to convey the passage of time in your film, it's important to think about the pacing of your edit. Even with extensive pre-production and script notes, you may still find that once edited, your film drags. Don't be afraid to cut and trim your scenes and condense time even more. Shoot proactively. Be sure you have establishing shots of every scene, even if the script doesn't call for it, because you never know when you might need it. Remember to try to include an element that indicates time in your establishing shot. Pickup shots of time on a clock or a calendar are an easy and cheap way and don't require actors to get it done. While the time-lapse process can take longer, it also usually doesn't include actors. You can also find great time-lapse footage on royalty-free stock footage sites. Audiences are smarter than you think. They really do understand the visual language of film. It's better to make them think than to make them bored. Cinema has a rich history. By watching movies that effectively show the passage of time, such as The Curious Case of Benjamin Button or Shutter Island, you can find inspiration for your next project. So here's a few bonus tips, and we'll explore the use of time in non-fiction projects. From music videos to commercials to weddings, there are instances when you'll need to show action outside of real time. Remember, you can use the same time compression or expansion techniques that are common and effective in fictional narratives. So let's take a look at weddings to start. The bride will spend hours preparing for her walk down the aisle, yet the footage you shoot will probably be assembled into a quick montage. Try to include time references in the shots so that viewers can appreciate all the time she spent preparing. You also want to remember to shoot establishing shots that include a time element if you can. A typical time expansion you may want to include is when the couples kiss at the ceremony. You'll need to plan accordingly and shoot at a higher frame rate if possible so you can slow it down to highlight that special moment. Also, think about television commercials. If you're featuring the manufacturing of a product, you may need to slow down time to highlight a complex or important step in the process. Conversely, you may want to demonstrate the durability of a product by showing its age. If you shoot music videos, think about this. It's a common format in music videos to show the artist performing their single song at one location, intercut with a narrative story told visually throughout the song. In this format, the musical artist acts like a symbolic narrator who's telling the story that unfolds in the cutaways, much like the format of The Princess Bride, where the grandfather is shown reading a story to his grandson, intercut with Buttercup's story being shown on screen. One of the advantages to this format is that you only need to shoot the band or musical artist performing. The narrative story can be shot with actors. Another advantage to producing this type of music video is that it gives you the opportunity to tell a story with little to no dialogue, which will help you build your visual storytelling skills for future projects. Now, if this is making sense to you, put "I've got it" in the comments section below. My question of the day is, what is your editing style? Leave a comment below and let us know. If you found the information in this video useful, I'd like to hear about it from you. If you liked it and want to see more videos like this, then follow my YouTube channel, Jim Costa Films. If you think what you saw was great, please like it. If you have an opinion, feel free to comment below. If you know someone who could benefit from the info I provided, please share the video. You can connect with me and my company, Jim Costa Films, on social media and online on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and the web by searching for Jim Costa Films. In fact, I currently have over 4,470 videos on my YouTube channel, Jim Costa Films, so feel free to check out many of my other videos for great tips and suggestions. Thanks for sticking around this long. I mentioned at the beginning about some freebies and training. As a professional video producer and photographer, I've created an absolutely free cheat sheet for you on all the best camera settings to shoot with your DSLR, mirrorless, or video camera that will show you the settings that will allow your photos, and particularly your videos, to shine and stand out from the competition. The link to get the cheat sheet is just below in the video description as well. Best of all, my cheat sheet specializes in shooting video with any type of camera. In it, you'll find all the info you need on important video techniques such as white balance, color temperature, frame rates, and more. I've also created an editing training for Adobe Premiere Pro. My Quick Start training is designed to get you up and editing video in under 2 hours and includes over 100 tips, tricks, and keyboard shortcuts for video editors. And now, I'm also affiliated with Christina Nicholson, a fellow media veteran like myself who helps businesses and entrepreneurs reach tons of their ideal customers or clients through the power of media without spending big bucks on advertising. I've worked with Christina and used her advice and training successfully, so I know from first-hand experience that it works great. The program Christina and I are now offering is called the Media Mentoring Program, and it will help you to take advantage of mainstream media so you can stand out from the competition because it's not something everyone has access to. Best of all, unlike paid ads and sponsorships, you can gain lots of exposure and credibility to become the go-to brand everyone talks about and wants to do business with without spending a fortune on advertising. I'll link to those cheat sheets and training courses in the description below as well. There's videos on both courses that will give you an overview of how they work and other information about the programs as well. Finally, if you follow me for a while now, you may know that I have a private community of photographers, videographers, and filmmakers just like you on Facebook, where I share other pro tips and tricks. It's called Video Producers and Content Creators. I love new members who want to share their work, learn from others, and also help others. You'll find the link to that group in the description below, so feel free to join it where you can learn even more.